Howdy, you'll want to join the gang? Well, let's play some poker. Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David and in this video I'm going to show you how to play the game The Gang, a cooperative poker game for 3 up to 6 players, and since it's cooperative we don't need to bluff. You'll simply try to guess how good your hand is compared to the other players, and when all players have that correct we win the round, and when you win 3 rounds you've won the game. But when you're wrong you all lose the round, and when you've lost 3 rounds you've lost the game. And if you want to spice things up you can also add some event cards that will change something during the game. So please let me show you how it's played. And before we start I'd like to thank Dutch publisher 999 Games for having me this review copy. So in this case it's the Dutch version. The Gang is played with a normal set of cards, a regular deck of cards that you also play regular poker with. And if you know the hands of poker, you can basically play this game right from the beginning. If you don't know the hands of cards in order of value, then there's this cheat sheet that says the royal flush is the highest combination of cards you can get, and the high card will be the lowest score. And it's important to know this because you want to know how good your hand is, you think, compared with the other players. So if you don't know the hands, that's okay, you can keep this in front of you, and maybe this is a nice way to learn the hands of poker. And there's also a little round reference. The base game is without these 2 cards. It's just a deck of cards, 3 alarm cards and 3 successful unlock the safe cards. The goal of the game is to complete 3 times a successful heist before you've made a mistake and 3 times triggered the alarm. And a robbery is successful if at the end of the round everybody successfully valued the hand of cards they had in combination with the cards that are on the table, just like in poker. And we're going to use these ships. There are 4 rounds. They go from 1 up to 6, but you use the same amount as there are players. So if we're playing with 3 players, we only use 1, 2 and 3 of each color, and then those get removed. So to start at basics, let's say we're playing with 3 players, then all players will get 2 cards. Just like poker, we're just going to play poker only cooperative instead of competitive. And now all players get to check their own cards, not of each other, only their own cards. And then you're going to think how good your hand is or how bad. In this case it's pretty bad, a low number, no same suits, no same numbers. No, this is nothing. So I'm going to take the number 1 token, because number 1 says my hand is the worst hand of all, and the higher ship you take, the better you think your hand is. So if I think my hand is the lowest rank of all players, I'm going to take the number 1 chip. If this player thinks I have the best cards at the moment, he will take the highest number, so in this case number 3. As long as you don't have a chip in front of you, you can choose to either take a chip from the supply, or you can take a chip from another player. Maybe this player thinks, well, I'm really having the lowest sets of cards, so I want this one. And then that player can take it from, in this case, me. The rules do not mention if I can take this one back, but in order not to keep going back and forth with this chip, I suggest this player can take it back only once, or simply has to take another chip. So in this case I'm going to take this chip. These chips, yellow and orange also, are just an indication. They don't matter for the result of the round. The red ones, the final ones, those will be deciding if we're going to score the round or not. But this will give you some clues of how good people's hands are. Because now we're going to open 3 cards, again just like poker. And now we're going to choose our chips again based on the cards we have. Well, I still have nothing, so I'm going to take, and there's no turn order, you can just pick it whenever you want. So if I'm really sure I have nothing, I might want to take this one before any other player can take it. Then this player is going to have a look. Let's have a look. A 6 and an 8. He still got nothing, although we have 6, 7, 8, so maybe, well, let's take the number 2. And this player has hit a pair of 7s, so this player definitely has something nice in his hand for now, so we'll take number 3 again. if this player maybe had a jack and he would take number 3, then you can see, oh, he started with a not so good hand, but now he wants the best hand. So that player probably has hit something, made something out of the cards that were put on the table. But for now, let's keep it like this. Then we gotta add another card, another jack. Again, we're gonna check. I still have nothing. This player still has nothing. This player still has a pair of 7s. And then we're gonna do one more card, and that will be the final card of the round. A 5. I still have nothing, so I still want this one. This player still has nothing, almost 5, 6, 7, 8, but that's not enough for a straight. The player will take this one, and this player still has the 7, so he'll take this one. And now we're gonna check if we're gonna win the round or not. To win the round, we start with player who has the lowest value chip, number 1. Then we go to number 2 and then to number 3. And each hand has to be higher than the hand before. So in this case, I'm going to show my cards. And the best cards out of all these 7 cards are a pair of jacks. And in my case, a 9, a 7 and a 5. This is the best hand I can make. So now we're going to go to player number 2. That player has 2 jacks, a 7 and a 8. So that hand is lower because my 9 beats the 8. So we filled the round. Let's check just to be sure. For our final card, that player can make 2 pairs plus the 8. So that was correct. But we messed up. And that means we've lost the round, so the alarm is triggered. And then all cards get collected, all chips return to the bank. And we're gonna start a new round. And hopefully we will succeed this round. If correct, you open the vault card, and you have to open up 3 vault cards before you've accidentally opened up 3 alarm cards, and then you've won the game. This is the most basic, easy version of the game. If you want to make things harder, you can of course add more players. You can add up to 6 players, and you'll understand that when we're playing with 6 players, it will be really hard to get all hand cards in the correct order. 3 might be too easy, although in this example we failed, but I think 4, 5 players would be the sweet spot for this game. But you can also take it to the next step by adding these cards. They go from 1 up to 10, and for your first game or first pair of games, it is advised to have them in order. So you're starting with the number 1 card on top for both decks. Since I've played it already a couple of times, I have just shuffled them to get a random result, but let's start with number 1 on top. This means if you successfully complete a round, then you will open up the top card of this deck, and this will give you a penalty for the coming round, so it will be a little bit harder. Sorry, this is in Dutch, but in this case, right after dealing our hands, we don't gonna evaluate our cards, but we go straight to the next round. So the white chips are not in play this round, we straight go to the first 3 cards, and now we're gonna start the round. And I still got nothing. At the end of the round, no matter if we complete it successfully or fail, this card will get discarded or put on the bottom of the deck. And based on the result of this round, we will open up a new card, either from this deck that will give us a little penalty, or from this deck, and this deck will help us if you've failed the previous round. In this case, the first card says one of you can show one of his cards to one other player. So that makes it a little more easy. And you can decide as a group when and who's gonna use this available action. And so there's a deck of 10 cards that will give you a slight penalty that makes it a little harder when you've successfully completed a round, and a deck of 10 cards that makes life a little bit more easy if you've failed the previous round. So this makes it the advanced version. Then you also can make it an expert version. Then you're gonna remove this card, number 1, from this deck. And at the start of the game, you will draw a random challenging card. And this one will be active for the entire game. But still you're gonna add another card at the end of each round based on if you're successful or not. So from second round there are always 2 cards active. But this one stays active for the entire game. Or you can even play a master version. Again, removing this card, you'll remove 1 alarm card, so you can only make 2 errors before you are game over. You don't get any help cards. And at the start of the game, you will draw 2 of these cards that make it harder. And at the end of the round, no matter if you've completed it successfully or failed, you will remove the card with the lowest number from the game, and then you will add a new card. And so you always have 2 cards active, no rewards, and only 2 alarms. So that makes it really hard. And again, you can add up the difficulty by adding more players from 3 up to 6 players. But that is how you play the Gang, a cooperative poker game for 3 up to 6 players. Starting with 2 cards, then adding 3 cards in the center plus a 4th and a 5th. You're going to evaluate your hands of cards and how you think it will do against all other players. You will take a chip to indicate if you're thinking you have a really strong or a very weak hand, or maybe something in between. And only after the 5th card has been added to the middle of the table, with the red chip, you're gonna give your final valuation of the cards you think you have. And only once the 5th card has played, then we're gonna take the red chips, and that will be the final order in which we're gonna reveal our hands. And the hands have to go from worst to best. So each next hand has to be at least equal or better than the hand shown before. And if you do so 3 times successful before you 3 times triggered the alarm, then you've won the game. And to shake things up, you can add these cards that give you a reward or a penalty based on if your round was successful or failed. And also adding more players will add up the difficulty. Thanks again to 99 Games for having me this review copy. If you have any questions about the Gang, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. My name is David, thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.